Welcome, everyone. My name is Camille Crittenden. I'm Deputy Director of CITRIS, and if you were following all the acronyms that Ken outlined before, that's the Center for Information Technology Research in the Interest of Society. So we're based here at UC Berkeley, but as Ken mentioned, we actually have strong partnerships also with the campuses at Davis, Merced, and Santa Cruz. I also co-direct now the Connected Communities Initiative, which is one also that Ken mentioned. So we're really pleased and honored to be able to present the results of Quake Cafe to you this afternoon, and also to be joined by such a distinguished panel of experts in seismology and other areas that I think you'll find really informative and appealing. So I think the symposium this afternoon is quite timely. We have seen in just the last couple of weeks a White House summit on earthquake resilience, which many of our folks were participating in and featured at. There was announced there and has continued to be announcements about increased interest and, in fact, funding for earthquake early warning. So this is a timely moment. Also because of some of the earthquake activity that we've seen around the world. We saw the Taiwan earthquake just a couple of weeks ago, which was quite devastating. And there are continued economic and social and geophysical repercussions from the tsunami and earthquake in Japan from a number of years ago. Also, if you consider increased earthquake activity in places that you wouldn't typically think of it as being, say, in Oklahoma or in central California, areas that perhaps due to fracking or other kinds of perturbances that you're getting earthquakes now that you wouldn't have anticipated a number of years ago. So before we move on to the program this afternoon, I just want to say a few words to give a little bit of context about the CAFE platform and to say how this project and Quake Cafe fits more broadly into the CITRIS ecosystem and, in fact, some of the other research initiatives that are underway. Quake Cafe, as Ken also mentioned, the CAFE piece that stands for the Collaborative Assessment and Feedback Engine. And so this is an outgrowth of work that Professor Goldberg has done over a number of years on developing these kind of social platforms for collaborative assessment of ideas, ideation, creating new ideas, commenting on the ideas of others. And these platforms can then become quite important and informative for policymakers or elected officials to gather that input from constituents that they might not otherwise have direct access to. So some of the previous instances of the CAFE platform before it was perhaps named that was in opinion space, which was applied by the US State Department to gather information or gather opinions about US foreign policy. This was a number of years ago. We also, together with Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, who apologizes for his absence today, we together developed the California Report Card, which is another platform that I invite you to take a look at. This we started about 2.5 years ago or so in order to collect opinions from people throughout the state of California about their experiences and priorities for the state, to look at a number of different topic areas that they felt the state should be paying attention to and to make suggestions as to what the state should be paying attention to in the future. This platform also allowed them to comment on the suggestions of others, and it was really due to the feedback from this platform that we received the encouragement from Lieutenant Governor to move ahead with developing something around disaster response. That was a topic that really rose to the top of the interests and concerns of the people of California. And so from further discussions in that, we have developed the Quake Cafe platform that you'll see today. The platform itself is quite flexible and also usable in a number of different contexts, even non-English-speaking contexts. The report card itself is translatable rapidly from English to Spanish, but we're also experimenting in developing country contexts with using voice response and icons so that literacy is not required. Our colleague, Dr. Brandy Noneke, has also been pioneering this in places like Uganda and Mexico for trying to get really direct feedback from beneficiaries of development assistance, say. CITRIS, as Ken mentioned, a couple of the initiatives that we have, the Connected Communities is one, the People and Robots is another that are directly related to this platform. But also just to say the two other of the 4 research initiatives are in sustainable infrastructures. So the Quake Cafe has something to do with that as well if we're thinking about resilient cities. So what happens after an earthquake? Can this tool be used to help promote resiliency and sustainability within the broader city and regional context? And then also health is the 4th initiative at CITRIS. And health writ broadly as far as public health, when an emergency happens or a disaster happens, we want to be able to respond to vulnerable populations as well as all that are within a particular geographic or affected area. More broadly, within the UC Berkeley context and throughout UC, we're really pleased to be partnering with other earthquake experts, which we're really fortunate to be working with here at PEER, with folks who represent Stanford University, and then thinking about how this topic, this platform, some of the ideas and projects that you'll hear about today really work together within the broader ecosystem of academia, other nonprofits, government agencies, and startup companies. I want to thank the folks who are going to be joining us today, and especially want to thank Brandy Nonaki and Sanjay Krishnan for their leadership on the project. And they, together with Ken, will be presenting some of the research results from the Quake Cafe. But I also really want to thank and welcome our panelists. You'll see their names on the agenda that you hopefully received when you came in. And just want to call your attention to the back of the agenda as well for your earthquake preparation kit. So there's a handy checklist that you can take back with you so we all feel more prepared. So with that, I'll turn the program over to Ken. Thank you.